You are live. Hello, good morning, and welcome to Coffee with Den, episode 9, a very special hybrid version of the show where we are currently live, and then we're not going to be live, and then I'm going to be live again after the not live part. So we're going to bookend a pre-recorded episode that we did with Joe Roats of Dragon Chain and Den, and Full Value Dan of Full Value Dan. I've got John T Swift or Die with me here today. It is morning, so my words are mixed up and backwards. Good morning, John. How you doing this morning?
How's it going? Some exciting stuff has happened in the past week, man. It's been crazy.
I mean, it's been busy for me too, and I might not have seen most of it. What's happening? See,
my brother's in town.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Where's your brother live?
New York City.
I've been reading a lot about New York.
Yeah, it's a big place.
Yeah, they're in the news a lot. They got their own newspaper.
I made a cake yesterday. Oh, so here's a little fun.
What kind of cake was it? You know, last time you were on, we opened up with a recipe for making your coffee that morning. Yeah. So what did the Tell me about the cake. Maybe this can be cross-posted to the food layer.
Well, so funny enough, here's the real Den story if you want to hear it.
Okay.
I felt inspired and I went on to Den because it's been a while since I posted anything. And I did a little like personal unscientific experiment.
Mm-hmm.
And I went on to a few of the different layers that I kind of like. And then I feel like I have something to say. So I went on to the awe layer and posted a picture of my adorable dog.
Oh, I saw that. I bet I could look it up.
Yeah.
While I'm sitting here. Continue.
It's on there. Yeah. So I went on there and I posted a picture of my adorable dog. And I just said something like simple, like, isn't she precious or something? Or like super sweet.
Oh, there she is.
That's me. Yeah. Isn't she precious? That's it. Picture of me and my dog. That was it. Even before that, I posted a picture of her and a friend of mine named Upali, and of them like meeting for the first time in like 2 years after the pandemic because like she hadn't met my dog because I got the dog while like during COVID. I'm gonna try to make it look like I'm not in a cloud. It's awesome.
No, you can be cloud 9, man. It's early, but you can start.
And then, so then I did that, and then I posted like a little thing in the Culinary Creates or something like that.
There is
Creature Comforts. That's what
Creature Comforts. Yeah.
Creature Comforts. And I like introduced myself, put like a cool picture and stuff.
Oh, you know what I'll do? I'll go to you. Sorry, I'm talking to myself. Continue.
No, you're good. I posted like a cool picture and stuff. I was like, I'm like, I wonder what's gonna get more, like more.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, because layers dramatically differ in audience.
Yeah, and then I followed up, and then my Heather thing as well, my Heather Gray thing from the other day.
Is this the one you're talking about?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Nice.
Right.
What is this?
I just posted something like dumb I made.
That's
like,
an omelet.
Yeah, omelet with a little creme fraiche on top, and then like salmon strips and a little salmon on like in a knot.
And you cut your hand, or what is that? Hot sauce?
Oh, you got to put a little sriracha on that, baby.
Oh, sriracha. Okay, cool. As long as it wasn't ketchup. What's your opinion of ketchup on eggs?
I'm fine as long as they don't do it anywhere near me. We're good. A friend of mine, and really like I was kind of like, it was never for me, but I was always like, oh, like sure, that's fine. Like I understand it. It's not for me, but cool.
Right. I'm not going to stop being friends with somebody because they put ketchup on their eggs.
Yeah. And then I had a friend of mine who used to be my roommate, like good buddy of mine, and he would drown his eggs in ketchup, like way too much ketchup.
I've tried it before. It isn't the worst thing I've had.
But like to the point where like like the whole room would just smell of ketchup in this diner. So we kind of like whenever we would go, we would hide all of the ketchup bottles from him. It was great. But yeah, so I did my little experiment to see what's going to get like more likes, what do people like, and stuff like that. Kind of like checked out the places a little bit more. And the only one that did well was the picture of my dog. Nothing else did well.
Well, the picture of your dog's pretty cute. My dog landed a wife for me, so I'm a believer in the power of what dogs can do for you.
Hey, my wife's dog married or landed her husband.
There you go. Lucky her. Sorry, I got off track. I was looking at some of these top posts and stuff on Den. So recap real quick. The winner was the one in all layer. Is that true? Of the two of your experiment?
Oh, by far. It was like 933. So when you're tipping, right? What is that? That's that's
so when
matter?
that's well, you can do a number of things. Like, let me go tip you. Oops, that's not the post I wanted. And I'll show you. Like, if I go back, can I just hit back and it'll be there? Yep. Boom. So for example, this photo here in the all layer, if I wanted to tip you, I would just click tip, and then it defaults to matter, MTR, but you can switch to lore, which you can use to vote on layers with. And if your layer wins, they become lot, L-O-T. But yeah, so then I would just be like, here's what's matter right now, 40 cents or something. So here's like $1. Oh, there we go. Boom. And then you can add a message. I like your Doge. And you can make it anonymous if you want, to where you can't tell it's me, or so that you can see who tipped. When that happens, you should see this little icon in the top. So you've got views, number of comments, and then you got tips. And you can see publicly. Now I can see that message and you can see that message, but nobody else can see that message. All they can see is that I tipped you, which is important if you ever have like a message you don't want everyone to see, or, something like that. Like, that's how we're going to do in January. That's how we're going to do. That's how we're going to do purchases for band merch and like at the bar for beer and stuff like that. That's
awesome.
Yeah, literally just tip the MTR and then write in like 2 Coronas, please, or whatever, or tip the band and tip the bartender and stuff like that. Which is cool. And then at the end of the show, we've hopefully gotten more users, and we've gotten people to try out the app, and it's the bar and the band members themselves potentially have an account now, so that they can get their tips on Den. And I think it's a pretty cool way to it's at least a fun way to try to promote the app. Oh, do you want to see the before we, and I'm going to roll in a second with the recorded show, but I want to show you also, now that I'm thinking about it, where can I pull it up? You know what? I'll save it for after. I'll pull it up at the end so that I can find it first, but we have a poster for that show too. It's pretty cool. It's like free beer kind of thing, participation required. So that'll be good. The main thing that I wanted to make sure that I hit was before we rolled what was recorded on Friday was the LCP results, because in that recording, the results had not come in yet. It was still up for debate. And something we were talking about was the motorcycle layer, and we made some bets on who thinks what's going to win in what slot. And it looks like Advice did snipe out motorcycle layer again. So we have one winner. We've got Advice and Advice from both categories, which, Advice is a good idea. I think that's great. I've got a little bit of lore in there myself. And I'm sure that the motorcycle layer is going to be like, here's some advice, make a motorcycle layer. They've been trying to get in for a minute, but they might still make it, because they can pay a fee to, if you're in the top 5, you can pay a fee to make it anyway, even if you didn't win.
Yeah, I gotta get myself some motorcycle. I got myself some advice. I got myself some advice shares.
Oh, you can't vote for it anymore. You can't get you anymore.
No. Previously,
Gotcha.
I already bought some. So I am now a member of advice. So if you have any questions, you can come to me.
You get some sort of advice.
Yeah.
Dope. I might actually throw in for garden and flowers, even though it's so the way this is going to work is for 200 matter or MTR, you can pay to make motorcycle happen anyway, and then it just scales up. So 2, 4, 6, it would be 600 matter if I wanted to make garden and flowers, which I might because there's a need for it. We have the outdoors layer, but it looks like the amazing views layer is getting used more for gardening and flower stuff. So I thought, well, a garden and flower layer makes sense. So I might actually just shell out for that. Excuse me. Hold on a second. Let me drink some more of this coffee.
You need like a hand mute thing so you can just like magically mute yourself.
No, I'll just cough into the microphone.
That works too. That's fine with me.
So yeah, there's the results. A couple of other things. There's an interesting conversation from Jeffrey about DAOs and how that would work with Den. Den has a governance as a service sort of. Well, not sort of. It is that, where your community doesn't have to know any code or anything to have a blockchain-based, decentralized, autonomous organization where you can vote on decisions and stuff. And so you could totally incorporate that with a layer and actually use all the tools in the layer to run everything. Wow, hold on, my throat's dry or something.
Oh no. You gotta get some Vicks Vapor Rub. Just eat a little Vicks Vapor Rub and clears it right up.
I was feeling a little bit sick yesterday. I hope I'm not coming down with something. Oh, okay. Excuse me, everyone. I was just couldn't talk there for a minute. I was trying to, but it was bringing tears to my eyes.
I keep thinking.
So here's what we'll do.
I keep thinking it says enter the dad instead of enter the DAO.
Mm-hmm. Since I'm having an issue in the at the moment anyway, this seems like a very good time to roll that pre-recorded interview, huh?
Yeah, this is what happens when you change things.
I'll do that, and then I'll go take care of myself, and we'll come back. So here is Full Value Den with Full Value Dan and Joe Roats. And I'll be back after that. Enjoy.
Up there. I don't know.
I was just thinking I should put.
The internet is broken. Business models and site design are entirely geared toward advertising and not the reader. On today's internet, advertisements are distracting, invasive, and overwhelming. In Den, the primary objective is quality content. Instead of ads, you may occasionally see a boosted post where a user has risked value to increase its visibility. Just like any other post, you can upvote or downvote to help evaluate the relevance to your community. The more engagement a boosted post gets, the less the booster pays. Depending on the evaluation process, a booster can get up to 85% of their money back, if the post is well targeted and engaging. In Den, quality content is the primary objective.
What's up, denizens? Welcome to episode 9 of Coffee with Den. This is the Full Value Den edition. We're going to get all the value out of it. Today, I've got JOEDRAGON and Full Value Dan on the stream, so that's pretty cool. We got 3 time zones together. Joe, Dan, what's up?
Hello.
Hey, guys.
Good morning, Dan. We're pre-recording this one, so if you're watching Wednesday morning and you don't see your question that you put in between Friday and Wednesday pop up, that's why. which will be interesting because this is right now we still have voting open for the LCP in December, but by the time it airs, it'll be closed. So we can check in and see what's winning on that. And then I think next time what I'll do is I'll hang out and answer questions and chat with people. Maybe I'll live tweet my own episode.
Maybe we
Still
can,
experimenting.
Make some predictions.
Oh yeah, I think I can. Is it okay to make a bet? I don't know. Like we're in different states and different countries. I don't know if we're all allowed to do that.
I have no idea.
It just doesn't matter.
The internet is international waters.
Yes.
Mm.
There you go.
There we go. I like it. Yeah, Dan, thanks again for coming on. What have you been working on lately? I honestly haven't caught the last few videos you've made since you came on. Den, I've been so busy. What's going on with you?
I'm just trying to create more content more consistently. It takes me really a long time to deep dive into like different topics. So I've kind of hired people to help me with that process, and it's kind of training them, walking them through it, and it does take a lot of time.
Cool.
So I am in the works of that and just trying to expose more people to cryptocurrency and how they can use it, because a lot of stuff isn't very beginner friendly. It really takes time and a different way of teaching different people. So that is my current focus for 2022.
I've got to give you props on that too, because before you ever did the episode on Den, I was already a big fan of episodes like how to make your own shitcoin or scam coin. I don't know what the language was there, but I noticed, it has to take you a long time to research that and to present it as well as you do, because that was like, it's a funny name, but honestly, like it's enlightening to see, how do people do this stuff? How do people spin up a flash economy to, to create some value? And, of course, they've already got their finger on the trigger by the time it's out there against everyone else that's trying to get in. So crazy times.
Yeah. Whenever I see that, I'm like, how did they do that? And then I actually start researching.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll say I like it. I like it because it's at least a different approach than the typical what low market cap gyms are going to 100x, right? So it's a very good thing, because you tend to, at least from all of them I've seen, to get into the fundamentals, which in my opinion, other than it takes patience, but it's still, that's how you actually really find, if you really wanted to look for the gyms, that's how you should be looking for them.
Patience and like real products.
Yes.
Yeah. And I come into this really from mining originally. And, I've played with all the different stuff at this point. But for the most part, that's still the way that I look at things. If I were to, as a miner or as somebody who's going to participate in the network, whether it's a service node runner or like a master node runner or actual, proof of work, I put a little bit of money in, enough to play with it, whether that's buying some hardware or some tokens to set up a little staking thing to see how it actually works. Because that always tells me a lot about, like if I feel like I've been doing this for a while, and if I find something like convoluted and complicated, then that tells me a lot about how I expect adoption to go, or, how, maybe not adoption, but like how close they are. If I want to look at my horizon, I'm like, all right, if I invest in this one, how long are they realistically going to take to do what they want to do? It could be 27 years at this rate,
Right. And so, it's actually good that you're thinking about that. Some people don't even think about that. They're like, oh, I like the picture, or I like this animal, and then they invest in it.
Yeah. Like what kills me is I see ads all the time for whatever popular meme coin, but like the baby version. So that's
you know what? By the way, I noticed that when I was an adult, but my annoyance when, like, let's say, I'm trying to think of a good example, probably be like Looney Tunes. When Looney Tunes, the babies came in, what are they?
Tiny
like
Tunes.
When all of the like the Muppets, when all of a sudden they would have the little kid version of all, and they're like, why do they do this?
But the one that made me cringe, even though like I was a kid at the time, was the Looney Tunes hip hop characters. Oh, that was so like
I don't know about that.
It was on all the clothes. It was Oh, it was really bad.
It's horrible.
I still remember, like, there's so many things burned into my mind, though. I think, Joe, you were mentioned Saturday morning cartoons one episode talking about something, and that was the thing, you know. And there's a lot of stuff from that. You mentioned Tiny Toons, and immediately in my head, the lyrics to that song popped in. It's like "There Forever," you know.
Yeah, I know.
But they're tiny, they're toony, they're all a little loony, and in this cartoony, they're invading your TV. I don't know why I remember that from
That's
childhood.
Horrible. I'm sorry, man. That's horrible.
Every episode, yeah, it just burns it in.
Wow.
So, all right, let's see. I want to see who's winning right now because I haven't checked it for a couple of days. So I want to see what new layers we're getting.
Whoa.
All right, motorcycle's not top anymore.
Okay.
Motorcycle had both of them last time I looked.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Okay.
It's gonna be. It would be. I will love it if we get 2 instead of 1. Right? Just to have.
Yeah, totally.
Split. But it's. We have 3 days, 4 days. So, yeah.
So current situation. There's a lot of people on that one. I guess that makes sense because it's kind of like. Well, I don't know. Does it make sense? Because it's kind of like the board layer, right? Where if you're stuck in traffic, because that's what it's saying. If you're stuck in traffic, or you're fighting with your boss, or you're like anything
I don't,
goes.
This, in my opinion, would be the original vision of Twitter, which was stupid. Hey, I'm about to eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I have barbecue chips. And that's what Twitter was. But I put in some lore on this too. So
I can see this being cool, though. I can see this being something sort of like familiar with the mildly interesting or the like some of the communities where the subreddits. Yeah, this is like a niche like that would be cool.
Yeah.
But I think mildly interesting is a better name. It kind of lets you think about what you want to post.
There are some that I do think are pretty interesting that have made it up pretty reasonably in the past few days. So
yeah, for sure. Especially a lot of like the unique voters. That's what I'm seeing. We're getting things bumped up to the top because of unique voters, I think. Let me switch to that.
Mm-hmm.
I know like a couple of people, someone came in who's a gardener, and she's been posting in like amazing views and outdoor layer. So I know there's users that would need a gardening layer. I saw that one, flowers and gardening and stuff.
Yeah. In fact, they almost had a redundant one, and they realized that was already there. So they killed their proposal, which was pretty cool.
Oh, I got you. Cool.
So the other one is still up there. I don't know.
I was just thinking I should put some more into mining, but I didn't realize I had so much of a share of that one already. So
what are you at?
68%.
Wow. Yeah.
I should lay off of that a little bit.
Well, maybe put in 0.2%. It'd be nice.
I was looking.
Oh yeah, round it out.
There you go. I was looking at firearms versus the one we already talked about. This I didn't want to go too much into that, but I don't want to. I'm probably going to put in the same amount in both. That's what I'm going to do, and then let it play out. Right. That's what I'll do. I think. Anyway, it's pretty cool.
Now that Dan said it, I have to see.
Yeah, make it 69 even. So people are like, oh,
there
nice.
We go.
And then they'll
add 2400. All right. There, it updated. Yeah. Boom. Nice.
That's hard to get an even.
With to get an exact.
That's pretty hard usually.
Check my
I try all the time. I try. My goal is to stay around 20%, but in some cases I've gone way up.
Yeah, 70% is too much. I would end up tipping that out like to other people and stuff like that.
That's what I've been doing. I got history down below 50, and now I'm trying to get amazing views down below 50, and there are a couple of others that I'm over 50 on even. So I'm like, I don't want that, but
this would be a good one. So Dan, I have a question for you because you probably have a good opinion. We're going to do at some point cross posting to where it's a built-in mechanism, right? Mm-hmm. So, for example, next week on World Blockchain, well, I guess this week in the future,
tomorrow
on World Blockchain Roundtable is blockchain conspiracies is the topic. So that's the kind of questions people will be asking and things like that. Well, this conspiracy theory layer, if it existed already, that would be a good example of something that, hey, conspiracy theory people, you might not know it, you might not pay attention to this show, but this is your day. Come ask questions about that over in World Blockchain. And Joe and I have talked about it to the point where like we want to make a function, like a utility, a built-in consensus based. If you see something that fits in a different layer, cross post it, and then people will vote on whether or not that was an appropriate cross post, and you can get rewarded for it. So you can help with exposure and things like that. Yeah. Does that sound useful to you?
I would just say maybe something on the back end that identifies that if people are upvoting that cross post, then it was a good cross post. And that's
what it is.
Yeah, I think that's kind of how they do it on I guess Reddit. And I don't think you have to over engineer it. Just if it's possible to share, allow that. Maybe the layer owners can set if cross posting is allowed or not within their layer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The issue with it is the potential for someone to copy paste your post into another layer that you didn't think of. And so what we want to do is make it so that instead of doing
that MTR,
instead of doing that, they will say, you know what, you didn't think to cross post this over here, so I'm going to do it. And so they get a cut. The majority will still go to the actual content creator. And if it's a bad cross post, the content creator won't suffer. Their market will expand. And
that is a good feature.
Yeah, it should be like a click through to the original, kind of like how Hacker Noon does their layer, right? So Hacker Noon, if you're not familiar, has a system where they are they automatically is that set up to where it's like an RSS into their layer, or are they manually doing that, or is that too much detail?
Yeah, their layer has a bot that pulls there's some criteria like for the some amount of content. It doesn't pull everything, it pulls
and the way they do it is really nice. There's like a small almost summary, and then here's click here to see the whole thing. That's how I envision like a cross post. Like if you cross post it, kind of like a proposal where you have to put in something to say why you're doing the proposal.
That's not we haven't cited that part yet, the actual view. I know we do want to make it so that the original poster would have the option to say, oh, I also want this to be in, it's a Dragon Chain post, but I also want to put it in cryptocurrency, or I don't know what else, right? But where you could literally select that, and if I'm looking at it in either layer, it might not matter. If I don't know if there will be a primary layer, and then I don't know, we'll have to figure it out, right? But anyway.
Cool. All right. So let me back out. So that hasn't changed as much. So I thought, we got to do predictions. What do you think? Since we're over here, before we leave this, I think that motorcycle's going to win eventually. It's going to win one of the categories at least. Because
so you think it's going to actually that was the first question to predict. Is it going to make it? Will it remain the top unique voter?
I think it will, yes, because there's 48. And the next in line is 29, right? So it would take a lot of people to come in here and vote motorcycle to make to beat that out in that category, in the unique voters category. Now that ain't the story over in lore, because you've got 1.6, 1.5, 1.4. This is neck and neck up until the end. And somebody might, like, let's say who proposed advice. Maybe I should have some lore in that. Did he?
I think y'all were. I think so. At least he was the one who really wanted to promote it, I believe.
So here's the thing with that is if he might be sitting on this, he might have a certain amount of lot or a certain amount of lore, right?
Nice.
And if he votes on it now, he might lose out in the race. But if everyone thinks it's done and everyone's just kicking back waiting for it to end, he might snipe it at the very end and push it up there.
There are two weird angles to that, because the Elon Musk layer sat for like 5 months, I think, at the time. It was on the 6th month, and for some reason I was going through the proposals with someone, and I said that given SpaceX, Boring Company, Starlink, all of the things, right? The memes, the crypto related stuff. That could be an interesting category for content. And so I said, well, I'm going to throw in something that gets this up, gets it like ranked high. And that's all it took. And then people just started piling in on it. So it's a strange thing because that's the opposite of sniping, right? It's like, okay, I'm gonna bring this up. And here's the thing that I haven't seen anyone do that maybe I shouldn't bring this up, but I'm going to because it's always interesting. That's all right. The reverse snipe. Effectively, you could go in, you could have a competitor that's sitting in number 2 and make sure you have enough in number 1 and then wait until the last minute and yank it.
Oh yeah, because you can withdraw up until it gets now. Yeah, because that doesn't lock until just the period between when voting ends and then when the layer is created, basically, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So anyway,
so you could vote something up to take the place of it, put yourself in second, and then yank it.
Yeah. I mean, it's like people would figure that out if they hadn't already, but yeah.
At some point, it'll get to that point. I mean, honestly, I thought by now we would already see the lore back off a little bit as far as like the millions that are going in there at a time.
Yeah.
I don't care that much. I just was surprised that we're still seeing the in the millions up there for the number committed. But that's cool. That's dynamic range, right?
Yep. It's good. Okay, so any other predictions on lore? Do you think anything's going to, because those are neck and neck. It's hard to predict even. Yeah, I will tell you, number 5.
Well, I just voted, so Bryce is in second now.
Den's Got Talent would be good content. The issue will be that's expensive content. Somebody to like film themselves doing something, or hey, I'm gonna play some song for you. That's expensive.
It's a lot more
content.
effort.
Yeah, it's tons of effort.
Yes, however, like people that are creative like that, I think typically have back catalog stuff that they could use too, right? It's original content. It's just stuff that they've maybe it's reposting that's somewhere else already, but there's enough probably to get it going.
Yeah,
I'm not sure how many of the 19 voters have a back catalog, but that's the idea.
That's true. And then the other side of it is for I mean, it's Garden of Flowers would be simple, but it's seasonal, depending.
True.
Right? Unless we have a good international audience, so there might be a lot of people too in different. I don't know, right?
True.
And then motorcycle, I know nothing about, but I know one of the guys that proposed it, so I put some in, right? And advice would be a good one because literally it'd be at least theoretically. Yeah, it could be what was her name who did the newspaper advice stuff, right? Where you would write into the newspaper asking for advice on some neighbor that's being an issue, being a problem.
I'm not sure about that one. I must have missed out on that one.
Dear Abby.
Yeah.
You remember from the 70s, from the 80s? I think it went through the 80s at least.
I just know the reference from The Simpsons.
Okay. And then anyway, there are a couple of other ideas that I would like to do, but I don't want to do them as me. So it's like I almost need to find somebody. Hey, you want to propose this? And
I'm going to propose. I think I'm going to do a hardware layer. I would like to see a Linux layer at some point. The hardware layer would be really cool. I've got, like I said before, I've gone in and tinkered with creating enough layers to where I feel like I really need to get a handle on what I have responsibility for so far before I start proposing more. But yeah, I do want a hardware layer, like a Gamers Nexus type hardware type thing where
you put like a hard like hackery stuff, like where Raspberry Pi.
Yeah,
stuff.
totally.
Yeah,
and the mining layer though, like I can also basically use the mining layer as my hardware layer because most of my hardware is from mining stuff anyway.
Yeah,
so
that's cool. That's cool.
So I think that by lore, that I think motorcycle is going to get unique voters, and I think that by lore, I am going to root for advice. I think advice is going to overtake.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Just because advice is more focused as far as topics. People like reading about like what are people experiencing.
Yeah, and I like that it points out, and when you do a good job on the proposal, it helps a lot too, because it paints a picture of really what it's about. And I like that it's not financial advice and things like that. It's like real.
Was that the original Bitcoin mining USB stick?
Yeah, it's one of the really old ones. Yeah.
Is that your Butterfly Labs?
Yeah, It's yeah, and I have a couple of other. I have a bigger one, but I don't know where it is. Not of that same style. But anyway, I just like, oh, I never have a chance to bring stuff like that out. So anyway,
That would be great for the mining layer. That'll get in there eventually. The mining layer is going to be my motorcycle layer. The motorcycle's been in there a couple of times and almost won. Mining's going to be the one. It's going to be the next
get it
one.
into get it up into the runner-up, and
yeah, but I own some. I don't want to like vote more on it because I own 70% of it. Remember, I already got to get rid of some. I need more people. It can't just be me.
Need to get more people in there. Am I in it? What is it? Mining? What number?
Yeah, mining. Number
yes,
is.
I'm already there.
Okay, cool.
Already in it.
Number. Yep, that's the 69% one.
Well, I can put more in. I don't have very much of it.
Gravity Crab, that's usually on. He's helping me with mining, so I'll get him on it.
Nice.
All right. So, what's your prediction, Joe? You're the last one.
I would bet. Well, current situation is extremely cheap content, but it's also not necessarily the most valuable content. It could be though. It could be. Oh, look, I'm on a stroll. Here's a picture of a duck. You know, it might be maybe there's a sunrise and there's a duck there, but then you're competing against the anyway, whatever. No, but current situation would be simple advice probably.
Current situation is more focused on that too. So
I think there are some people that haven't thrown into garden and flowers that, again, like the people who were proposing it, that's probably going to go up above where it is. So,
yeah, if you're interested in the gardening and flowers, go ahead and get those votes in. Oh, I keep saying it's gonna be closed by the time this airs, but yeah, that's all right. We do another one every month. That's fine.
Yeah. Yes.
So which one? Which one are you calling for this one? For lore?
I'll bet motorcycle actually has a good rank there, but
it could get both.
I'll bet motorcycle does because I think they'll end up putting more in. I think they might be ready. I don't know this, but I bet they're ready to snipe because I think one of them was one of the guys was annoyed that it didn't make it last time, right? So I'm like,
yeah, sounds like you've talked to somebody about it already.
Yeah. I was like, oh, they were asking me about it. It's like, how does this work? I'm like, it could take months, right? It's just you build it up. That's the whole point of it because you get more people that kind of get a feel for what that vision is, and it's like, okay, I'll help out with that, or I can provide content or something, right? So, that's why it's there. But anyway, the LCP that is.
Yeah. Well, we beat LCP to death, I think. I wanted to bring this one up now for something completely different. I just saw this today. I guess it just came out today. Have you seen this? Where Justin's son is back in the news
this morning,
again? Yeah. He's really good at making headlines, isn't he? I think he's fantastic at making headlines. But yeah, what's the deal here? Like Granada, he's leaving Tron to.
Oh, he's leaving Tron?
Yeah,
oh, no.
He's leaving Tron.
What we do?
Yeah. That's been down for like 3 years.
Oh, really? So I didn't even notice that. It's like,
well, I mean, it peaked at the very early of like 2017 or 2018, and then it's like development.
I had some Tron around then too, actually around 2017, 2018. That's when I got back into mining.
I didn't know that about you, Dave.
I did. Yeah, I had me some Tron, man. I had some Tron, and I had some BitTorrent token as well. But I got rid of the BitTorrent token because literally Justin's son was going around airdropping it to everyone. And I'm like, stop diluting my bags. They're just going to go sell it. Stop.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
And you don't really need the token. It's if you use BitTorrent, it just takes off ads or gives you that premium speed.
And that's the thing too. That angered me so much. We actually sat down with angered. It wasn't angered. I was annoyed. Sat down with one of the guys from BitTorrent that was leaving after Tron took him over because he said it was just I'm not going to say what he said, but it was point ridiculous. And it was frustrating because I was like, before that happened, we actually wanted to go in legitimately and basically find a better way for them to monetize that network and to actually have how simple is it to say, okay, it's a network now, it's on chain, and when you do seed files, you get some rewards. I mean,
now we can account for it. That
would be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my God,
like that was my
Why?
initial, and that's
Why?
why I grabbed some in the beginning, and he was like, okay, that could be a cool thing. And I don't know if it's the same person that you're talking about, but that was also when I started following this project called Chia, and they're doing hard drive mining and stuff like that. Now I could have my wires crossed, but I'm pretty sure that someone involved with BitTorrent was responsible for, at least one of the people were responsible for starting Chia. Like that was like he was going to go do that now. So unless I'm remembering that wrong, which can happen from time to time.
Yeah, I was actually looking into Chia and I couldn't figure it out. Like, I saw the side where people get rewarded, but I couldn't see the business side where people are actually using their services. And compared to all the available services that are, on the legitimate side now, it's like they would have to have very competitive pricing and very good marketing.
Yeah, well, you know what? Their whole thing, really, from what I can tell, their whole thing is green Bitcoin, kind of. Like Bitcoin doesn't have a whole lot of these utilities that other projects and blockchain like networks have. It has a sort of a single purpose, like it's a currency, and that's it.
Right.
And so Chia is, as far as I know, they're not like that's kind of their focus. And so they want to do, I think they do plan on, I don't know what their smart contract situation is. I don't know what their Turing completeness is or any of that, but their positioning from like following them through the development looked like it was always, it's a currency and that's what it is, and maybe there's other bells and whistles to bolt on. But I'm going to be mining it. I've got a rig that I'm building that's going to be mining a bunch of these newer projects that I've been seeing, like trying different stuff. There's one that forked Dash that's doing a new CPU mining strategy, like specifically the AMD Ryzen CPUs that have a butt ton of L3 cache. Those are like profitable for CPU mining now. And then Chia is hard drive SSD mining, hard drive mining, that kind of thing. So it's like a proof of work, sort of like it is a proof of work. I think I consider it one, but they call it proof of time and space or something.
I think you should create a mining channel. This is great information.
Well, mining layer, man. Yeah.
Mining layer. I'm going to put more money in, more lore in that right now.
Cool. So
but
yeah,
how exactly does Sun get chosen? And I have nothing against him. I don't know.
So yeah, and that's the other thing too is okay, but why? That's a good question.
Yeah, I mean, and again, nothing against him, but it is fun to make fun of him because it's typical. It's like he is the epitome of crypto marketing, and
I think it's because he buys a lot of news articles.
Yes.
This is
There
just
you
an
Somebody
opinion.
said it.
Yeah.
But in the crypto world, everything is purchased. Every news article, like everything is purchased.
Well, I would tell you the funny thing, and I don't know what shifted. I'm not in the club, right? But when we were at Disney, of course, we didn't touch anything. We would post an article, post a position looking for a blockchain intern, right? Somebody who was interested in blockchain. It made international, news, various all the crypto press, Crypto Graffiti posted stuff about it. Everybody posted about it. The entire crypto world except for CoinDesk. I can never figure out why, right? CoinDesk, I think, only ever did 2 articles on us. The second one was because of open source money, where I think that might have actually been paid because they had a PR department that was promoting the show. The first one was after we did our token sale, and it was just vanilla. We have to do this. Crypto Graffiti would post about us all the time, and now they won't touch anything unless you're sponsoring it, I guess, or whatever you call it. But,
everything is monetized, so that's what I've learned from like working with other groups and finding out like what their struggles are. And like if you've seen some of the shit coins that were posted on like Forbes or Business Insider, like
I believe that.
They got paid.
And that's the one of the topics we threw into like we're voting on new topics for next month in World Blockchain. And one of the topics, like the last minute ones that we threw in was journalism and blockchain, because I think that, that's one of the biggest problems is the advertising situation, even down to a local level. I used to do a whole bunch of event planning. I'm getting back into that because of Den actually. But one of the issues, even locally with local city magazines or newspapers was they're just running stories that the venues that like they got to pay the bills, right?
Yeah.
And it's not that it's not that like they're bad people. They just have to pay the bills. So, but it becomes so obvious that the only stories they're running are who pays them to write about them, that kind of thing.
Now,
So
Ross, who is often on the show, we've asked him about it, and they don't do that. At least Global Crypto Press, right? So they're at least legitimate. I'm like, oh, that's refreshing and nice, right? But anyway, okay.
All right. So the next thing that I was going to bring up here, and I'm just going to keep pulling up a couple of posts here. If you have something that you wanted to interject with, go for it. But I thought this was cool too. This is something that came along because of tipping. When we enabled tipping, now people can do stuff like this, which is run contests. And that was really one of the bigger reasons we did tipping to enable lot and lore, was because we had a problem where an owner wanted to give away some lot to the new people that were participating a lot, but it cost, $300 on Ethereum to do it, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, just like we kind of hoped would happen, people are doing the contests, and that gives them more flexibility. And
there are two things there.
Cool.
One thing I'm interested to see if anybody else wants it. In the case where you have lot, or where you want to reward people doing stuff in a certain layer beyond the built-in economy. Right now I'm manually saying, okay, does this person already have ownership? No. Okay, and they're consistently making good posts. I'm going to start tipping them for the better of their good posts in lot, right? So now they have a piece and they can expand what they're doing. Occasionally I will tip lore somewhat in a similar, like if I don't have a ton of lot in that layer, I'll give them a bunch of lore so they can go and put it in some other layer.
Gotcha.
Especially new users, right? Somebody who's kind of new to the platform, that gives them a little bit of jump. And the weird one that I kind of want, but I don't know if it's worth doing or worth building, is to say, okay, we have this layer, and I have let's say 10,000 lot that I have an overage. I want 10,000 lot to be spread as well as we can, but who do you give it to? And it's much, if it was smart contract driven, so that if I said, okay, this 10,000 lot, and I want it rewarded to the people based upon their matter generation in this layer, right? So effectively, the people who are providing the best content based upon the community evaluation would then get proportional amounts of that lot over, however many weeks or months, right? And I was like, that would be nice. I just don't know if it's worth building, if enough people would use it. I would use it, but it's not enough reason to do it. So,
Joe, a common theme that I've noticed with you that I love is, because it's kind of unique, is that you're focused on this new ability to measure things that we've previously been unable to measure, like,
right.
Or not cleanly. You know what I
Right.
mean? Not in a way that's more like objective.
Yeah. Yeah. And I will say the reason I do that is because when we were at Disney, that the biggest development, the biggest thing that I think came out of that entire project, more so probably even than the code base, is the realization and the ability to actually point to evidence that everything in the world is an economy, that or a marketplace, I should probably say. That our conversation right here, although this is a very weak version or example of it, is the time, and we see it on World Block Chain Roundtable, where everybody wants to answer the question, yet you have to be polite. It's literally a marketplace, and it's a marketplace of reputation and politeness or grace or whatever the right word would be, right? There's this interesting marketplace that happens between people. At work, it's typically a political marketplace. So, how much political weight do you have? Oh, I know the boss. I play golf with him. Or, hey, I know your boss, which is even worse, right? That I play golf with your boss, so you better be nice to me and give me what I want. It's weird stuff that exists in the real world. And we found that if the team instead said, hey, we're going to start measuring all of the things we care about, well, not all the BS about who, the politics, the things that we can legitimately say, we care if you deliver this stuff early. We care if you deliver it without a mistake. We care if the documentation is there, if the test cases are in there, blah, blah, blah. And then you put numbers on that, and then you put scarcity on it. So that basically when you do this, you generate tokens that you can then use to move to the head of the line in our service list, right? So, and it was amazing because all of a sudden, the politics will always be there in some capacity, but the measure all of a sudden then just leapfrogs it. And that's why, and the hardest thing is figuring out, what are the things you should measure? What can you measure? What should you measure? And then how do you weight those various things? And it's all behaviors, and that's the future. So
thanks for that.
Understood. Yeah, they were very big on like metrics, like what are you doing? How effectively are you doing it? I also worked at Disney. This is a Station 19 shirt for the
Nice.
studio fire department.
Nice.
So yeah, I found out about Dragon Chain because I was working at Disney. It's like, oh, there's a group making
really?
this thing.
I didn't know
oh,
that.
I got to get in on this ICO. Yeah.
That is so cool. I will tell you what. Every time we go, I don't travel much anymore. But when we would go to conferences, inevitably I would get pulled over like 2 or 3 times. And I'm not like a recognizable person or anything, but they would like, I know Dragon's right. It's just always funny to me because it's like I never realized the number of people that took part in that back then, and it's always cool, right? I mean, we still got we got a call last month from somebody. Dave knows about it. That like pretty amazing that this person was a Dragon fan, right? And I was like, I would have never known. And this, this is a big deal.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Probably. Anyway, other Dragon fans, right? So it's just amazing that those people are in it. Anyway,
I just realized that this post was up. This is a good one to go see. Like on Friday, when this boosted post thing pops up, you get people posting in their original articles in here, so you can go as a jumping off point. That's actually a pretty good springboard.
We do need to better tools, I think, on helping people determine if something's original without having to copy and search and check.
That's kind of my strategy. Is I usually will I've got like on this computer, for example, I can it doesn't show my right click, my pop-up. I can search Google Images and Tiny whatever on that, and then I will copy like a string from that, and I'll search Google for that just from right click search.
I'm on mobile too much, I think.
Gotcha.
So,
yeah. I'm at my desk too much. The desktop, and if you're a creator and you're looking into how to how to best interface with Den, obviously your wallet's only on the desktop portion, but workflow wise, I find that it's super helpful to have even a second external editing program or something just to keep all your Dan, I don't know if you do that or not, but like I have like just several notebooks basically electronically, but I'll do all my post writing outside of whatever platform and then just copy it in.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. It just makes it easier so you don't accidentally post it too early.
Yes, that's true. Mm-hmm. You can spell you can wow, that's funny. Yeah, I if I didn't have this job, I would probably be a meme lord. I'd probably have stuff set up to be making memes all day long.
I think you fall in the same tier of creators as Elon Musk. It's like I like building stuff, but also like memes.
Building memes.
Yes.
You got to build the memes. Yeah. So he's Musk. He's got, what did he have? It's like 3 awards in the same month, right? He got the Time Person of the Year. He got do you remember what the other 2 were? I forget.
There's some European paper that was also Person of the Year. I can't remember if it's British or what. And I don't know what the 3rd one was.
Oh, it was
Um,
most disruptive innovator or something like that. Who was it that did that? It was I forget. It was somebody's most disruptive person.
Elizabeth Warren.
Oh, I
She
do have
really
a
wants
post on
money
that.
from him.
We can talk about that because I got a post on it. Let me bring that up. I don't, because there was this ad on Facebook, right?
That's pretty crazy.
And because like I'll check into Facebook sometimes to see what's going on. I got a lot of friends on there still, whatever. Where did I put that?
I saw it on 4chan last night, and they were saying the same thing. And then he posted that today. I'm like, oh, I thought that I totally, I don't know. I get timing. Everything's weird because I'll see something someplace like that, and then it'll get into into a Musk tweet itself the next day, and anyway.
Yeah, sometimes like time doesn't flow linearly in your brain when you're trying to remember because it was actually pretty recent. But yeah, so I thought it was like, and I'm not
pretty aggressive.
Yeah, right. And so I'm just thinking like, okay, and I try not to like be the type of political person where I say my opinion is the correct one, and I'm not trying to be political here. I'm trying to be like objectively, what are we getting at? Is it a tool to paint, to deflect? Here's my conspiracy theory. Is it a way to deflect blame on the financial situation that we find ourselves in, so that the folks who are
talk about
more
this instead.
objectively responsible about that happening aren't the bad guys? It's all the billionaires that aren't paying their fair share and their taxes.
I will tell you,
like
this is an extremely tiny form, in my opinion. This is my opinion, right? That and not about the subject itself. You probably you could surmise that anyway. But that this is just a teeny distraction compared to the other distractions that are trying to keep us from talking about the Federal Reserve blowing up the cash supply and blah, 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 all the other things. I mean, the other ones are worse because they're war. They're rumblings of war that are for the same reason, in my opinion. So.
Right. Yeah. So like, and at the same time, we've got, talk about, we really got to get the conspiracy communities on Den, like the UFO community, the flat earth community, hollow earth, whoever, because there's a bunch of shit going down and somebody's right. I don't know who it is, but somebody unexpected is going to be completely right. So we got to get them all on here so that it's all on chain and we know who said what and when.
It needs to be on chain. All of history needs to be on chain is the main point. It's like we have this technology now, and it is a travesty that it is not. The freaking encyclopedias aren't even on chain. It's like, theoretically in 300 years, in 1,000 years, people should be able to come back and say, okay, what was the common thought of this subject? What did they know about or think they knew about X? And they won't be able to. It's going to be the same thing that we have right now when you go back to Herodotus and, well, he really wrote this 300 years after it happened. It's probably not true. It was word of mouth for generations. How accurate is it? We're going to have the exact same situation, even though we have the freaking technology to handle it.
That gave me an idea, because with the Eternal tool, you eternalize those tweets. I was wondering if there was a way to create like a subscription service or a bot that could just track specific tweets from people.
Do you want? I don't know if I'll get in trouble for it, but we have an entire vision around it. There's a group that is creating an entity that we believe it's going to be a DAO that we are going to spin off.
I'm still here.
Okay.
My camera. I had to switch cameras. The camera got really hot and shut off.
Okay.
Oh, man, must be.
Well, we still hear you just fine.
Jeez, it's like some analog, like an old camera, right?
Yeah, it's because I'm moving. This is a different camera.
Right. No, so the intent, and I'll give you the high level of it, is that they're going to take that code and actually do more with it. And the subscription you talk about is effectively going to be a marketplace. And let me, I don't think we've said this publicly anywhere, but it would, you might be interested. The intent is to create an endangered content list, much like you'd have an endangered species list, where I could basically put my money down because we need to start archiving this feed, whether it's 4chan or some subreddit that everybody knows is going to get banned, so that we have it right historically. And the beauty is, there's a model behind it that makes it a very interesting market that should be pretty accurate for finding what things will be banned next, right? Anyway.
Well, my idea on that was to track certain people, maybe celebrities or that have been participating in crypto scams, because they'll promote something, then they'll delete it. So
well, that was sort of the idea behind Eternal, right? Where you can sort of hold the idea of holding people accountable for what they said, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
there's a couple of things.
I think there'd be a couple of things too where there would be NFTs that would only mint if the person deleted the tweet, right?
That's a great idea.
So so you have to capture it and then they have to delete it. And now you own it. That'd be pretty cool.
Making a game out of Eternal like that would be so cool, or something like Eternal.
Yeah. But anyway,
Dragon Chain deleted tweets or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, we can't keep giving away all of our good ideas. I didn't see this. I just JP12X posted in Elon Musk layer about hardcore history and Elon Musk. I didn't know that was a thing. I'll have to go listen to that, because
that's one of the best, at least for history people. One of the best podcasts. That's amazing stuff on.
This is one of the shows. This is one of the, what do you call it? Is it a podcast? It's a show, radio show. That made me realize I like history so much, because when I was in the Navy, I was always drilled into me. I had to study naval history and I had to learn the shit so I could pass the test. And I didn't give a shit how many sails that ship had, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or how to tie a knot. I was like, it was cruise missiles, why do I got to tie knots? That was my whole thing.
Cable management.
Cable management. Yes. But yeah, that always got me.
I had I was okay with history all through school, but then when I got into college, I had this one professor that blew my mind. He would freaking recite these speeches, and it was amazing, and like, holy shit, that's what it's about, right? It wasn't this dry BS. It was amazing stuff, and I just fell in love with it. So ever since then, I just, anything there is, I'm trying to always soak it up. So
depends on the teacher. Need a good teacher.
Yeah, no, that's true. Like I've learned so much about not even the subject that the class was about from good teachers, just because the way that they describe things, like it's more about being able to relate, I guess, on a topic. But Dan Carlin's, I think it was called Blueprint for Apocalypse or something. It was the World War I series, the First War series. That one, I was driving for a day job, just listening to podcasts all day. My old job, I would drive for 6 hours to do a 30-minute job or something.
Wow. Yep.
So yeah, good stuff.
Cool. And I'm gonna have to listen to this one. So
I'll be there. All right. Let me see if there's anything that we needed to hit here for sure, because I've been going through a lot of these and I lost my place. So let me look for it again. I always do that. I get a few tabs deep and then I'm thinking, okay, where was I?
Yeah, and I've not been on this show, so I kind of
Nope.
like, wait a minute, do we need to get back?
No, we just hang out. No, there's no need to stay on topic. There's no need to fill certain shoes. Oh, let's see, Boosted Friday. Here I am. Cool. So let's see. Usually what I'll do is more often than not, I'll hit on Super Happy as well. You haven't done that yet, so I won't. And let's see. It
was an uneventful show this week, really. So I'm joking. I don't know what's gonna be on it. So
all right. All right. So that puts us at we got 10 minutes to round the hour out. What do we want to chat about? Open it up. Dan, what do you think, man? What do you got going on coming up?
This is just kind of Den related, but not necessarily me coming up. It's just something I think would fit the Den business model really well.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with slick deals?
Split
No.
deals?
Slick deals.
Slick
Slick
deals. No,
Yeah.
I'm not.
Okay, so it's this deal website that a lot of people kind of shop on. At least I used to do that a lot. It's slickdeals.net. And they have a very interesting business model. So they have a forum where people post all their deals they find, people upvote it, and then if it gets high enough that it makes it to the front page. And then if it does make it to the front page, the affiliate links are like added for like the Slick Deals company. But the people like posting those deals don't get anything. They just like helping the community. And I feel like this is exactly what's where Den can fill that gap where it actually rewards those users that participate in it. And if like Den set up the affiliate links, that could buy back whatever the MTR or whatever coin is used.
Yeah, that would be
system.
Great for like the hardware layer or the mining layer where it's like, oh, look at here's a good deal on memory, or here's a good deal on, oh, you can find GPUs that exist on this website and nowhere else right now.
So rather than it being its own layer, like you could make it its own layer where
it could be a feature
Slick Deals layer equivalent. You wouldn't call it that, right? Trademarks. But
Dragon
you
Deals.
could do that. Yeah, Dragon Deals. Or it could be, if it theoretically it could be a smart contract that would operate behind a tag. That if something was tagged as a deal or as a coupon or something,
true.
that could be tracked as a separate. I don't know. There's potential there.
Yeah, because those tags haven't been fleshed out completely. We can still do a lot of stuff with those.
Right. Like right now, the intent is like say an NSFW tag or an abuse tag would make it automatically hide. Where until it comes to consensus, people could still see it, but at least it would be hidden in case. Virginized, whatever, you didn't want people to see it. But then when it's real, when you have consensus, no, this is definitely not appropriate, then it locks it down. And it would be smart contract, built. So it would be all on chain.
So similarly, it could be like,
so the opposite brings it to the front page if everyone agrees that it's a good deal.
That could be interesting.
Huh. I would definitely I would use that for the hardware layer if I had a hardware layer kind of thing.
On top of the fact, when you get the filtering by tags, where you would normally filter out certain types of music in the music layer or whatever, you could theoretically have I only want original content that is marked whatever, or in this case, I want the top deals, right? And it, like site wide, it would just roll up all the deals. I don't know. That could work. That's interesting.
There could be something there.
Because it's like all types of deals, like free cheeseburgers this day if you download this app. It's just like all these random types of deals that I used to use a lot because I was broke. I was like, this is how I save money. I look for the opportunities.
And if that was a feature that was like not a layer, but a feature that could be used in all the layers, even like my local Gainesville layer, for example, people would be able to put in what local businesses have deals, or even that like. I mean, hell, you could even have, if there's an event with 50 vendors, they could individually, like put whatever their deals are on, and then those could be voted up by the community. Yeah, and they could post that. Interesting. That's cool. There's that's a good idea. Usefulness. Anything that I would be like, anything that I think about, and I'm like, you know what, I would use that.
And by the way, this is an interesting, like if you want to say, take this as an example. And think about it at a higher level. So, Dave has said this before, that we're migrating towards further and further decentralization of the control and management of how we build this out. And we always have this, we have this core team still that still, builds the pieces that from the beginning, when we first said, hey, we have this idea, let's build this. At some point, that won't be the only team building stuff. And we want to find a way to say, like, let's say Dan came in, it's like, I have an idea. I want to do this. There ideally would be a way for him to propose it, obviously, to get support for it from people who would say yes, and that we have some weight in voting. And now there are funds there. We have the matter that Den generates on its own, and as lore and other stuff that effectively it could be funded, and someone could I guess make a bid. Okay, I can build that, and here's my history, so I have a good reputation, and I can do it cheaper and faster than anyone else. So maybe he gets the vote, and there are ways to fix problems if he doesn't deliver, and so he or she doesn't deliver, whatever. And it's just an interesting thing. But in the end, the other piece is that Dan and the people who might put the effort into defining it, designing it, and building it, beyond just getting paid for building it, should have some element of you can build it and you're going to get this payment, but you're also going to get monetization in its use. You're going to get a cut of what it does, right? And that's the other side of it. To actually why other than it's a cool idea, but that then becomes a business proposition, for Dan to say, hey, I want to do this. I'll get this, and it's just ongoing forever. And if it's a really, really useful, valuable thing, especially around Christmas, then I'm going to be making more money, so I can buy whatever, right? So I don't know. It's just interesting stuff.
We're talking about like value and money and stuff, and that's one of the things that there's a handful of projects that have a special place in my like learning about this industry that's evolving in front of our eyes. And one of the things that I learned from Den was really how to like just thinking about value and the concept of value and the idea that value really is just kind of floating around everywhere. It's just everywhere. And we haven't figured out how to like snatch it out of the air and capture it and tokenize it yet until now. And this whole conversation, if we were typing and we were in a layer and we were in a thread and going back and forth with this conversation, hashing out different ideas, maybe how to implement the deals thing, that kind of thing, then what Den is able to do is take the value of the conversation and tokenize it and capture that value based on, other factors and people helping you do that, of course. But that in itself is like, it just wasn't possible around the time that MySpace and Facebook were being rolled out and things like that. And so, we're able to monetize stuff for the people that actually produce the content, the people that do the work, the people that make those networks valuable in the first place, they don't look at it like they're volunteering. They don't look at it like they're, working for free, but there's obviously there's billions of dollars worth of value that is being provided by people that are working on these networks, and this is value that is coming out of a community. You know what I mean? It's being sucked out to a central location instead of really benefiting, besides, some useful stuff like being able to organize an event and talk to your friends conveniently. Yeah, there's some useful stuff there. But, besides that, there's no like, oh, thanks for helping us build this, global dominance that we have. Appreciate that.
Right.
Kind of deal. So stuff like Den, being able to account for who did what, and when is cool. Just like, Joe was saying about history. Haven't been able to record it yet like this before.
Right.
So Joe, you got a lot of stuff going on. You want to plug anything?
Geez. Den, right?
Yeah.
I think the reason I'm most, and some people Dragon World complain about that we focus on Den a lot. Why? Because it's a particularly valuable example that's very public that I can just, we can just show people, and where you can see the results. And we had a call as an example, sales call yesterday or the day before that. It was all over the place. A lot of really amazing ideas that they were throwing out, and we were answering. It's like, yes, we could do that. Here's how I would approach it. Basically, you could break it down all different ways, but so they understand the flexibility. They understand, okay, if I want to do this one, and that's key. If you're gonna deliver a project successfully, you have to have at least a dozen contingencies. You have a dozen ways past anything that could get in your way, because it's going to get in your way. It's going to either be budget, politics, weather, anything. And that helps. But at the very end, it was interesting because I brought up the fact that, I literally think that, although there will probably be, a blockchain and cryptocurrency, the semantics still exist of this is that industry. But I think that largely, and not everyone will be there that's in cryptocurrency or in blockchain, but that I think that behavior systems is the future. I think of this technology. I think that the key thing that it does all the way from Bitcoin to, let's say, Tron, just because that's funny, is behavior. That Bitcoin literally, without a founder and without any precedent to see, oh my gosh, that's successful, it's gonna be worth money. It went from zero to the largest computing concern on earth, right? And in very short order. That did not take very long for that to happen, because software changes everything. And if you can then make software work on its own, basically, I look at it not in a bad way, but almost as if it enslaves humans. But it's not. It is not a forced slavery. It's not really slavery, but it is basically the process of exposing some behaviors and rewards to say, if you do X, I will do Y. And the beauty is you don't have to trust me because I'm not in the same country as you and I don't have a contract with you, because it's literally mathematical. It is the software itself that if I can read this, okay, I can do that, and I can probably optimize doing that.
Well, that's kind of the reason that I like really enjoy mining so much, because of that, is that there's this competition, there's things that need to be done to make the system work, and like you don't have to trust anybody, you can just fall into it. I remember whenever I was mining Darkcoin, which is what eventually rebranded to Dash, I had some GPUs and I was mining Darkcoin, and Wolf was one of the personalities that was in the IRC room where we're like the miner chat room, whatever it was back then. Mm-hmm. And he had, or she, or whoever it was, had taken some of the I forget exactly what it was, but it was like the kernel to the miner that I was using. And he had just unrolled some stuff and reprogrammed some things that he knew how to, he had a particular talent with software that the person that designed it could have done a better job. And so he had a particular version that was able to mine like 30% more efficiently, like more coins on the same hardware. And so that in itself was a marketplace. That was a business opportunity where,
huge.
Yeah. And so that, like, I started learning about, man, if you really, this is an industry that is so new that, like, yeah, here's what everyone's using, but that doesn't mean you have to use that miner. You can legitimately, like, you can go get the specs and look at what the algorithm is, and you can write your own from scratch if you know how to do it, if you want to put the time into it, and you might figure out a way to get the same hardware to be faster than everybody else. Mm-hmm. So that got me thinking in that way, and then branched off into proof of stake, taught me about UTXO management, that kind of thing, and then like just constant learning all the time.
That's what's great about this.
I was going to say something about I went off track with that.
Well, I will say that behavior stuff. I was impressed because they got it. They got it, right? And I'm like, okay, so mostly I'm trying to figure out what people understand about those,
because that is kind of abstract
things, right? But they got it, and they typically what we want to do is say, give us a vision and tell us the behaviors you want, or at least that you think you want to start with. And that's where we can really start, and we can tune stuff. And then you can see how the people react to, and by the way, it's not just the incentive itself being well modeled. It is the transparency. It's like we found even with Den that if people didn't know how the tagging vote system worked, then they won't do what they really should be doing, what you want them to do, which will get them the most rewards. So you have to make sure you make it very clear. And we need work there too. I mean, we have a lot to do.
Oh, camera hot.
Clear.
Oh. All right, camera hot. Yeah. Well, that's all right. We can still hear you. What I was going to say a minute ago was that working on Den so much, and I've noticed this sort of accidentally, but it makes a lot of sense to me. There's a lot of things that are basically proven on Den and tried out on Den, concepts that then can be used in other products because you've seen them work on Den.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And that's
that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's Dragon Chain's angle on Den. That's how we do it. Other than that, I mean, what Dragon Scale was just launched, announced. Some interesting stuff there. They're doing.
Yeah, I saw that.
Very cool things.
It looks like they're launching in India. Is the first what geographical?
There's a Swiss entity and there's a Dutch entity, and there are really big partners in India, and there are a couple of other places there that they are also well connected, that they're building out stuff. And anyway, it's good stuff.
Dan, we still got you on audio there?
Yes, I'm here.
Right on. I've got your YouTube page pulled up. So this is Dan's YouTube page, and you're going to be. You said you're upgrading, right? You're going to be putting out some more stuff soon.
Yeah, we're gonna at least get up to like maybe 2 videos a week, hopefully.
Cool.
Maybe
Is
more.
that your primary spot for publishing? If I'm following on Twitter and maybe I don't follow on YouTube, maybe I should go over to YouTube, or what's?
I'm mostly on YouTube and Twitter, and then Discord. So I chat there with a lot of people.
Do you have a server?
I do.
Okay. Maybe I'll have to hop on that one of these days.
Yeah, it's the Full Value Club. You can find it in any one of the most recent videos. There should be a link to the socials or something.
Cool. Yeah, I'll do that. And I would plug in, but I feel like that's what we've been doing for the past hour.
At some point, we want to ask Dan if at some point, if we were to launch a native video on Den. Because we want to do that badly, and we have a few different options. We just have to find the time. Would you on occasion publish something over there?
I would just have to just put that into my routine. That's about it. But yeah, I know video is difficult. There's a lot of blockchain or other video services that have tried, and it's really hard to get that user base.
Yeah, I think that there's some stuff coming down the pipe that would be so very compatible, like not compatible, but just like conceptually would work out. It's all, all this blockchain stuff, the infrastructure stuff that's coming down the pipe.
Yeah, I don't know if you know this, but Binance, the official .com app, they do video services within their app. I don't know how well it does, but they did that too. Yeah.
Cool.
And they have the user base, but I don't know if that user base is actually using it.
Yeah, that happens, right? If you're using an app for something, it's like, why did they add this? I don't even want that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that happens a lot. So still, even 1% of that user base would be decent. So
that's true. Yeah.
All right. You want to wait till your lovely face comes back up, Dan, or do we want to?
Let me try again. I'm gonna
turn
on the camera.
If you're if anybody's wondering where the controls are on the app for the governance tools and you don't have them, that update is still being pushed out. Somebody was asking me about that recently.
Yeah, I think it's in the app stores and not approved yet.
Right. Yeah. So it's in there. That's the last word that I heard when I was looking in chat was that it's in the app stores, and it's just got to go through an approval. Like that's how it always works, right? Here's what we want to update. They look at it to make sure it's not violating something, and then they approve it. So yeah.
So cool. All right.
Well, that's what I've got. That's been Coffee with Den, and we'll see you for episode 10 next week. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.
Bye. Thanks. All right.
Roles of a denizen. A content creator is a user that creates posts and is rewarded based on the quality of their content. A content evaluator is a user that helps assess the quality of content and enforces community standards. The evaluator is effectively taking part in a marketplace to curate content and is rewarded for early evaluation. A content consumer is a user that wishes to find and consume the most valuable content in a given subject area or within a community. A layer owner is a person holding tokenized ownership of all or part of a community layer. Owners are rewarded with a portion of all mining activity happening within their layer. Owners are incentivized to build the best community of content creators and evaluators.
What is up? I'm back on the other end of the live recording. There's John. He's back. How you doing? Welcome back.
Hey.
I may or may not owe anyone listening an apology. I was over here having breakfast, and I looked over, and my mic was not muted. So there's a chance that I coughed into the microphone, or that there were some sound effects that came over during that during that replay of the recording. So if that happens, oops, my bad. Pay attention, Dave. So yeah, that was Full Value Dan and Joe Rotes. Watch Dan's videos and look for the info for joining the Full Value Club. He's got a Discord server where he hangs out with people and chats about things and stuff. So I'll probably find myself over there pretty soon. Of course, JOEDRAGON, you know him from all the other shows that we do together, including tomorrow's episode of World Blockchain Roundtable. John, how do you feel about conspiracies?
You know what? I'm skeptical of them.
Yeah,
I think there's something going on. I think there's something larger behind them.
Yeah, it's not just what people are saying it is. Like, it's not just that the Earth is shaped like a raptor, a velociraptor.
I think there's some group
that's a front
that's controlling all these conspiracy theories to keep us focused on these conspiracy theories instead of like actual hard evidence. I think there's some group out there.
Distraction.
Yeah, they just don't want you to see the truth.
Yeah, I don't know if you caught what Joe and I were talking about for a minute, but that's like a lot of with what Den's doing on blockchain is you might not be able to go back and put stuff in the past on chain in real time to prove it, but you can starting now. So everything can go into this new provable system called Bitcoin, and we can look back and see when someone changed the history books on us, if the Ministry of Truth came along and rewrote what was true, because really we don't know, right? Like, we don't know what happened before we were born. We know what we were told.
History is written by the victors, right?
So yeah, conspiracies, like there's actual conspiracies in blockchain that have happened. Maybe I'll go in there and put a couple in for discussion. Like I consider what happened with Steemit. I don't know, you probably don't know about this, but there's this other blockchain network that was basically like, they had a governance system as well, and it was controlled by the community. But then something happened where a lot of people, including a major exchange who was holding on to custody of some of the tokens that could be used for voting, they got together and conspired to remove some popular people from the governance board. Yeah, I think that'll be my contribution. We can talk about that. Conspiracy and blockchain. Conspiracy nerds.
Cool.
Besides that, that's all I got. You have anything that you want to close out with at all, John?
Sure. We talked about it. We talked about it last week. You were gonna show me. What were you gonna show me? How to buy a layer.
Oh yeah.
If you want, we can do it next week. We can do it next week.
No, I did. I think I did.
As
well. I looked at the FAQ and found the email address for you. I'm pretty sure I did.
Yeah, isn't it just dragon at social .den?
It's email. It's email at com.internet.
Oh, okay.
But no, it's in the FAQ. I always forget what it is, so I always have to go look at it. But no, we did. We went over here, and we went to here, and then we went down to.
Oh, okay. Cool.
What did we go to? How do I?
It was like under layer. It was like how to buy a layer.
LCP. There we go. Can I? Yeah. Boom. Info at. Just info.
Cool.
You want to get some info? That's where you get your info at.
Yeah. I thought we were just going to do it like live on air, but it's cool.
No, because it's literally a process where we email back and forth and we're like, what do you want to do? What's your business? Cool. How many tokens do you need? All right. Send us over that many lore, the voting tokens, and we'll convert them to lot for you. And then after it's created, we email back and we're like, here's your layer. And all we have to decide is it a private layer, where you can talk about secrets, or is it a public layer? Stuff like that.
I think that sounds like a cool running segment if we were interested. John starts a layer.
You can just start a new layer every time if you pay for it. Yeah.
Well, it's a process, right? So each week it's like, we'll check back in on the email. Like,
I got you. No, okay. I
people at Den might get pissed off at me having to wait a week for an email, but I mean, I don't know.
I'm down, man. If you want to chronicle the process, let's do it. I don't really have anything against that at all.
So I had a pitch for a layer.
What would it be? Yeah.
Purely for me. Not purely for me, but like there's another way I was thinking about using matter, right? And like the tipping function and stuff like that. So like my idea is that on like how like for like the farmers market, we're kind of looking at using Den and like matter and stuff as a way to like purchase things. I was thinking about doing because I wanted to do this anyway, like free improv lessons.
Oh, right.
The farmers market, but still make them free. But if you wanted to tip, this is the only way.
I'm a fan of that.
The only if you want to pay me for my services, I'll take hugs and matter. That's all that.
I'm a fan of that, man, because like that's artists and creators are in a unique position to be able to promote something like Den in that way, where even if you have like a special edition of something, right? If you're a band and you want to try to, get on this, get your own, maybe you have a fan club that you're having a hard time managing. And so you want to get your 1,000 or however many people in your mailing list onto Den instead. And that's your new home base for your fan club. Well, then you can offer things like a special edition album for your fans where they can just directly pay for it with Matter, or even, I don't know, you can go off the rails on ideas for that. Like you could even crowdsource what songs should be on your best of album, and stuff like that.
So I was using before, when I had like my school, I was using Discord as a way for us to communicate. And I was like, it's kind of cool, but some people don't really get how it works because there's like older people and people that just aren't into technology and stuff like that. And also like there's no like value. I feel like Discord is kind of hard to like interact in as well.
It can be, but especially when you have some of the servers that have like a different channel for every subtopic, and so then you got to search for where you have your notifications. And is that a notification because someone mentioned me, or is that just because someone said something? And I don't, it can get a little bit convoluted for sure.
And then it gets even a little bit better too, where like I was, I did like a lot of improv stuff over a pandemic, and like the number one way that I received information and information was disseminated to me was just email. And that seemed to be like the easiest, like essentially like the important stuff that you need is emailed to you. Right. And for me, I was like, man, I think Discord is just like, it's cool, but it's like a little too much for like your day to day.
Oh, so you're saying that on Discord, you were still using email anyway?
Yeah. So like, because like the Discord, you like kind of pop in, it's a way to interact with people. But it's like the same like 10, 15 people. And really it's hard to like kind of find important information because it just gets pushed down. When people comment stuff. So I was like, why don't I need like a kind of a better way to give important information to people, but still as a way for people to interact.
Den has basically, that sounds like something that Den could do very well with. What you need is, so we've got a chat room coming up.
Yeah, that's right.
We demoed it for a little while on the app The vision of that though is for each layer to have its own community chat room. So then, like, just conversing stuff that you don't necessarily want to make a post about. You just want to say good morning, hey, who's around right now, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or you want to, organize something that you're going to make a post on before you post it for whatever reason. But also in the chat room, you'll have whenever, let's say you're hanging out in chat, and instead of this page that I've got up, it's the chat room for your improv layer. Well, not only will you see the chat in it, but you'll also see when someone posts a new layer puts a new post in your layer, it'll show up in chat in line. So you don't have to keep going back out to see if somebody posted something new on the layer.
Okay.
So you can
just let you know, you're still on the LCP tab.
I know, because I don't have an example to show you for the chat room.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, I saw like a chat in one of the groups the other day I was messing around in. Yeah, so like I thought that would be cool. So that's what I was gonna pitch to Den. It was like just to buy my own layer for my like improv people to use.
Let's do it, man. Yeah, let's do it.
I'll help you like, so then like next week we'll pitch it. We'll write the email. We'll pitch it.
Okay.
And I thought that would be a cool way to kind of like incorporate everything together. Be like, hey man, no, I don't take cash. I don't take credit card.
We organize everything here. Yep.
Yeah. Like,
and that's great here, because then you can also like people that maybe go to your classes can get a token where they can vote in the community or something like that, that kind of thing. Decision making, prioritization, just simply what does everybody want, that kind of thing. Helping you organize it.
I can always create more lot, right?
Yes. So if it is one that you purchase, like you're talking about, where you just like, here's the layer I want, here's money, thanks for my layer. Well, you as a business have control over making more lot later. I'm doing that with the Gainesville layer for reasons. With the LCP layers, if you were to run this through the LCP and get the community to vote on it and it wins, however much lot is created in that process is permanent forever. So that's one difference between the business layers and the LCP layers. Is one of them you can inflate the lot supply, and the other one you can't.
Yeah, my plan was to like just create like a large amount of lot and then give a lot to like people as they're join. Hey, you're being involved, like you're an asset to this community. Here's a lot. 100%. And then that also gives them the rights to like edit, to vote on like stuff for the layer, all those types of things.
I tell you what, man, if you want, let's do that, because I know you and I know what you'll do with it, which is getting me excited about it. And since we live in the same city, let's talk about collaborating with the Gainesville layer, with the music shows that I'm doing already. And if you want, we can launch them both on the same event. If you want to, make it about both, not just the Gainesville layer, but also improv, because I don't have to talk about it at the show anyway. So if you want to come up and try to let people know about the improv layer, let's.
Well,
locally.
It's one of those things where like no matter what conversation I'm in, somehow improv in Gainesville always gets brought up.
Yeah, that's me with Bitcoin.
Yeah,
I understand. I get it.
Even if I don't bring it up, somebody walks up and is like, "Hey, John, improv." I'm like, "All right, what do you want?"
Stack sats, motherfucker. Yeah, I understand. You're passionate.
I thought that could be kind of a cool idea. To kind of, and like, like just trying to keep that proprietary, like, hey, like we're just gonna take.
I like the idea of doing that, and
just want to tip me here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's easy. You have an app. If you don't have any points in the app, you can either earn them or go buy them. And you could even, if you wanted to, you could. I'm not a lawyer. I'll preface it with that, but I'm planning on selling matter at some point, just over the counter as a business. So like, let's say, oh, you want to tip me, you don't have any matter. Well, I'll sell you some and then you can tip me, and then you have it on your app and you can use it for all the classes and all the shows and all that stuff.
Interesting.
That kind of thing. And then, you could even make, since you're providing a service that's making it more convenient for someone to acquire instead of learning about crypto. You could even upcharge that, you know what I mean? 10% over market or whatever you want. So it's another option. Just, you know, your business, run it however you want. But yeah, I'll help you with that for sure.
And the idea is that matter is going to like increase in value over time. So buying it right now at 40 cents on the dollar, or like, you know, like with that conversion or whatever, I'm not going to do like, never mind. Like buying it now, in a year from now, hopefully my matter's worth more, but your dollar is worth less.
Well, that's without speculating too much. That's kind of how, like, what's guaranteed, I think, is, well, what is guaranteed in the contract, like what's written, is the scarcity model, which means there's only 1,000 tokens per day until it runs out, like 1,300 years from now, way after we're gone. So what that means is, naturally, right now there's a pretty low bar to what gets a lot of matter rewarded to it, like relatively speaking. As more people join and more competition comes in, you're going to have more users who are sharing that same 1,000 tokens per day. So it's going to become a situation where it's more scarce. And so you're not going to be getting like 10, 5 matter for a reward on a post. You're going to be getting like 0.1 or 0.01. But theoretically, that wouldn't really matter. It's not a bad thing. It's just that, in theory, you could assume that it's probably going to be worth more per matter, like it's priced more per matter, because it's harder to get. And with scarcity and difficulty comes value. That's where it kind of starts, really. So I personally think you're right. I'm not giving anyone financial advice. We're on a live broadcast, so I'll disclaimer that. Not financial advice, but I believe that you are correct. If we look at what happened with lore, it's already done that. It started out at like, I don't know, it was like 6 zeros and a 3, and now it's 5 zeros and a 3 or something like that. So it's already 10x just because people are using it, voting and things like that.
Yeah, works for me.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I thought that'd be fun, something to work on. I still gotta like nail down talking to other Dave. Every time I talk to him, it's like, yeah, that sounds great. And then I gotta, okay, so what day are we starting?
It does happen from time to time. Yep, I can see that. But no, let's talk about that offline if you want to as well, because I think that's great, and we could have an improv layer up. We could have it up by January. I don't know what's going to happen over the holidays and stuff this month, but that sounds great, because the way that you really drive value is you have to create it, and that just means starting a community of your own and using the tools, because using the tools means you have to use the tokens, and if you have to use the tokens, then there's demand, and if there's demand, then number go up. So that's kind of my idea there on how to pump something properly, not buying personalities to talk about it on the TV. Just make it worth having, make it worth using. All right, so I am going to end it here. It's been a cool episode. We did some live stuff. We did some recorded stuff. And I thought that having Joe and Dan on was great. I want to probably try to squeeze into one of Dan's shows over there. We talked a little bit about mining and hardware, and that's my jam. So, all right. Well, that has been Coffee with Dan. We'll see you next week for episode 10, first double-digit episode. And maybe we'll talk about starting a custom business layer and follow that process.
Who knows? And maybe Heather Gray will make a comeback. We'll find out. Maybe.
Yeah. You still got her in the file folder?
Oh yeah, baby.
All right. Sounds great. You got binders full of that character?
Oh, there's gonna be a comic. Oh, that reminds me of something else I gotta talk to you about too.
Oh, okay. Now or later?
I think it's interesting. Honestly, it could be another cool running segment. My brother, who's an artist in New York City, wants to do a comic, but he wants to do an NFT comic. So he'll make a comic, and there's X amount of issues, I guess, and like that's how many people can own it or something. Yeah, or however many people support you and throw in on it to help you, just like any other
crowdsourcing or crowdfunding thing. But then you add NFTs in it, and then you don't even have to manage it. The payout's automatic if it sells copies. Let's talk about that. My throat's getting weird again, so I guess I'll stop it here. All right, everyone, have a good one. Thanks for hanging out. Long episode today, but yeah, I liked it. Cheers.
Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best.
Adaptable, all capital, label radical yet rational. Adaptable approach is palpable if this animal is fallible. But that conclusion is laughable, so with for all detachable from the mandible, you see it now.